So let's just touch on some of the laggards so far this year. We know that Econet has not been performing that great, but it seems that it is one of the key stocks that you are looking at because it has performed so negatively. We know that it's also offloaded its 20% stake in Afri as well. Afri has been performing quite well. Let's touch on Econet as one of those key stocks to look at going forward.
Yes, Eleni, I think with Econet, we pretty much seeing, I think it's deep value that is hanging in that counter. I think going forward, I think it's also trading negatively. Technically, I'll say, look, it's one counter to really give a shot at. And also the fact that all other counters have been moving up and it's been lagging. We should see it rise, and it's also an attraction to most of the buyers into the Zimbabwean market, mainly the foreign investors.
Well, I mean, you mentioned deep value. Some would say that, you know, when stocks are offering deep value, they could also land up being a value trap. What kind of risks lie ahead for Econet? Or would you say the fundamental prospects are actually quite strong?
I think in terms of the only negative that was there in that counter is the perception that's around in the market following the trouble they landed in terms of the relations with the other companies, Afri and all the other boardroom issues. But with them unbundling that sort of problem, it should see them going back to their normal practice and normal focus. And in terms of that space, I think they lead the space, and they're very innovative, and they come up with very good products that are very attractive to the market, and the demand is behind their performance.
Arnold, let's touch on Afri, and one of the best performers year to date. Do you think that the stock is actually set to continue this upward momentum?
Eleni, I think in Afri it's pretty much of a jump, a recent jump. I think it's a 2-week jump, and it's again on the back of the transaction that Econet did with whoever took up the parcel. I think that transaction happened at 18.42 cents against the price of 3 cents in the market at the time, and basically, it's a realization from the market that there's that space between, and probably that is also giving an indication of where the valuation should be. But again, it's pretty much subjective to, you pretty much have to come up with a very cautious approach in terms of how you enter. But it's pretty much that euphoria that's driving the price up. As people are re-rating the price to the transaction price.
With regards to the actual laggards so far this year, we know the small cap stocks haven't been performing well. We have started, however, to see a Rio Tinto recovering, and we just saw that stock on the screen a few seconds ago. What now for Rio Tinto? Resources seem to be in vogue at this stage when you actually look at the underlying prices, but it's not reflected across the board on a global level in the share price.
Okay, I think for Rio, it's mainly, I think the drop in the price was mainly because of its capitalization issues. I think the company is currently, I think, in problems for capital. I think they're really looking for capital to come back to their normal terms in terms of operations. So you've seen the recovery is pretty much a reaction to information that that issue is now being resolved by the shareholders. I think some of the key shareholders are also grouping up with management to come up with a solution to probably to the previously arranged proposal. So we should see the price, reacting firmly to those issues.
Ariston Holdings proposing a rights issue to raise around $8 million US. This is to recapitalize the company. How is the market taking this?
It's pretty much, the market is pretty much taking it firmly. I think we've seen demand in the company coming in strongly as well, as people feel. I think it's key, the fact that it's got an underwriter. I think that's a positive for the rights issue. And if this proposal is passed at the EGM, then we should see more people buying into the company, as the rights issue is coming at a very good discount to market price. So it should really be an attraction for be investors.
Arnold, so tobacco season started on the 13th of February. It is expected that we'll see quite a lot of bullish trends coming to the fore. We also know that there's been quite a big supply gap because a lot of the floods coming through in the Americas. Do you think that Zimbabwe can actually fill this gap?
I'm not too sure about filling up the gap, but it's pretty much a good space for the farmers locally. I think it should do well for their prices. I think we should see the prices firming up. We should participate more in that space as we will pretty much sell the bigger crops in terms of the size, volume of the tobacco space. And then the supply gap, naturally, I think it will also bring forth, I think, more buyers from other markets that Zimbabwe was not pretty much participating in. And a lot of focus from Asia, I think they're also looking at Zimbabwean tobacco.
Yeah. Arnold, some of the favorite stocks, and because they have actually performed so far this year on a pretty high level, we know that InScore has been outperforming in a sense. OK has also done quite well. A lot of demand from the consumer end for the products of these companies. Are these your stock picks?
Yeah, InScore and OK, fortunately, they are also part of our top 10 picks that we highlighted in one of your interviews before. I think really the drive behind those counters is the consumers. I think they're in the right sectors, and there's a lot of demand for their products, and we should see that rise continuing, I think, as we go into the end of the quarter.